I believe that I can be only the best and whatever.
My name is Segun Agbaje. I work at Guarantee Trust Bank, and I've worked here for over 20 years.
Guaranteed, yes indeed, to be the best and whatever I do.
I'd like to start by thanking everybody who's taken the time to send in questions. I know it's not always easy, but thank you very much. In going about today's talk, I'm going to try and take you through the different things I think you've all been interested in, and hopefully by addressing these things, I would have addressed a lot of your questions, and where I haven't, I apologize in advance.
I believe that I can be only the best and whatever.
The strategic objectives of Guaranteed Trust still remain pretty much the same. The first is, obviously, we would like to remain the most profitable bank in Nigeria. The second is we would like to be the most efficient when you look at our return on equity, cost to income ratio, and return on assets ratio. Moving out of Nigeria as we go further, we would also like to remain a dominant African player. With all these in mind, these are very lofty goals, and with all humility, not that easy to attain. So I'd like to spend a little bit of time telling you how we will attain these things. Historically, we've always been a high-end wholesale bank, which means we've made a lot of our money from our corporate bank and our commercial bank. We will remain strong in these sectors. We will remain a dominant corporate bank, banking all those in telecoms, oil and gas, manufacturing, commerce, general trading, and that will probably continue to account for about 50% of our business as it does today and into the future. We're also a strong commercial bank, which are the medium-sized businesses. We will continue to remain strong there, and that will continue to account for about maybe 20-30% of the business. There's an area people do not know we're also strong in, and hopefully you're beginning to see it, which is retail. Today, Guaranteed Trust Bank has about 3 million retail accounts, and we're very proud and very happy to have those 3 million people who have chosen to do business with us. I have heard a lot of the criticism about the services and the crowded halls, but I tell you, this is a problem that I am happy to have. I think the disaster would have been if we had built the branches and people did not come. At least you have been kind enough and gracious enough. We have built the branches and you have come. We are not going to stop. We are going to continue to welcome you. Over the next 5 years, we're hoping to go to about 10 million retail accounts. We are tackling the problem head on of congestion. But let me be honest with you, bricks and mortar and branches will never solve the problem of congestion. In the retail landscape, we are going to have to do a multiple of things, and I hope you started to see some of that. We're going to open even more standalone branches. We're going to open what we call e-branches. E-branches are basic branches that will only have ATMs to be used to pay in and for withdrawals, and things where you can get on the internet, which means we will complement that, and over the next year you might see about 40 e-branches open. We will also continue to increase our ATM network. Today we have just about 500 ATMs. We'll go to about 1,000 ATMs. We will also encourage you to continue to use our ATMs, our internet banking, our call centers. I think to decongest the branches we have today, we will have to encourage people to use all these alternative delivery channels as well as the branch network. I believe at optimum, Guaranteed Trust Bank's branch network, excluding the branches, will be about 250, and maybe we'll add about another 30 to 40 e-branches. With those, 1,000 ATMs, internet banking. We'll continue with things like PIN pad, which will get you in and out of the branches very quickly. I think with all that, by the time we get to 10 million, you'll see us servicing you very, very efficiently. On the back of retail, over the last 2 years, we have successfully built what I would like to call a card business. Today, again, we have over 2.5 million debit cards. We have about 100,000 credit cards. The uptime of the debit cards is over 99%, so I'm grateful and I'm sure that is working. You will continue to see the debit card continue to increase. We are also going to go into Africa. over the next 5 years, that slogan you see, proudly African, truly international, will start to take on a life of its own, and we will go more aggressively into the sub-region. Today, we're in Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Ivory Coast. We are probably the only Nigerian bank today that all our subsidiaries outside of Nigeria P&L positive. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have opened Ivory Coast, which means we'll be in Francophone. Without giving away too much, after Francophone West Africa, we will probably target another 5 African countries where for sure in the next 5 years, you will see us not just be a Nigerian bank, but hopefully an African powerhouse. I would also like to talk on expansion in Africa and the synergies that exist between those different countries. In the perfect world has been done if you were taking the United States or the EU. They have created an economic zone, and so they've broken down all boundaries, and what you find is transactions can happen seamlessly across those different zones. In Africa or West Africa, that hasn't quite happened. There's been talk about creating a West African zone, economic zone, but until it happens, what you will find is that different countries run under different laws, and that it is not quite possible today to just transfer money from one account in Nigeria to an account in Gambia or an account in Ghana to an account in Nigeria. I believe the day will come when Africa will become its own economic zone, just like the way you have the European Union and the USA. But until that happens, what you're dealing with are the laws of different sovereign nations, which is why we haven't been able to tap all the synergies possible in being across other African countries. But I'm sure going into the future, as Africa becomes an economic region, those who have positioned themselves in those countries will be able to tap those synergies better than those who are not.
I believe that I can be only.
In the retail landscape, I admit we've not done a lot for young people, and we've not done a lot for small businesses. You will see the focus from September on these 2 segments. We will start to target university students, and we have a product for you which we will launch on September 1st. With the small and medium scale businesses, which we had lumped into retail and not served as efficiently as we could have, we are separating you from the rest of retail, which are individuals, and we're going to have standalone groups for small businesses. Hopefully, by focusing attention on you, we'll be able to design products that you will enjoy and that will satisfy your needs. So that kind of takes care of the business side of things. But we are not just about business and about making money. We're about giving back to this community.
I believe that I can be only the best in what.
In terms of CSR, we will continue to support the arts. We will continue to support young people who we believe are the future of this country. That's why we do things like Principals Cup. You will see more and more sponsorship going into youth, and we'll try to diversify some of our sponsorships more than we have in the past. We've done music, we used to do the This Day Awards, but I think the focus going forward is not to spend too much on any one function, but spread the contribution so that we can touch a lot more lives.
I believe that I can be only the best in whatever.
I believe that our source of competitive advantage going into the future in the next 3 to 5 years will be our human capital, the people. I am going to spend a lot of my time over the next few years building this human capital. We have great human capital and guarantee trust, and that's why where we are today. I will continue to build on that. Guarantee Trust is really known for entry-level recruitment. We will not stop that. People have said we're not very good at middle-level recruitment, but we are going to start. We need to plug some holes. We need to beef up for the future. So we're going to look for ways to bring in people into the middle level of the organization. We'll have what we call induction, integration programs to ensure that they can settle into the system quickly and add to their own quota towards the success of the bank. You will see us recruiting probably more aggressively in the middle level than we have in the past. Entry level will continue. That is something that builds our future. The young people are our future. But for this human capital to be the source of competitive advantage, we will focus on recruitment in middle level. Wherever we find the people, we will bring them into this organization, be it in Nigeria, be it outside the shores of Nigeria. We are committed to putting more and more into this organization and making sure that we have the human capital that will help us into our goals and our dreams for the future.
I believe that I can be only the best.
So by the time you couple all the things which I've said together, you'll have a high-end corporate business, you'll have a strong commercial bank, you'll have a very strong retail business, and you'll have a strong African business. I believe Guarantee Trust is positioned and poised to have a very, very exciting 5 years. The next few years in banking are going to be very, very competitive. The banking landscape has become even more competitive. Years ago, people used to ask me what would be our source of competitive advantage. And I used to say to people, cost. And it was cost. The sustainable source of competitive advantage for Guarantee Trust over the last 5 years is that if you look at our cost to income, it was better than most people's. But it's, people have seen that. And it's easy to replicate, and people have started to replicate it.
I believe that I can be only the best in what.
We will deal with the service issues, we will deal with the technology issues, and hopefully we'll be more accommodating. I'm hoping that by the next time I talk to you, I will have probably half of the university population in Nigeria doing business with me. I will have the small businesses in addition to the corporates, and we will begin to develop this type of organization that we can all be very proud of. I cannot get off speaking without thanking you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I think those who have sent these questions are our real customers. There were times where we had service issues in the past, and you stood with us. We have overcome them. Technology has stabilized. I think Guarantee Trust has one of the most loyal customers. I think we have a loyal following. I think you're always kind to us. Even when we drop the ball, you stay with us. And so I'd like to thank you, and I promise you that on my own part, this is probably the first interview I've granted as Managing Director of Guarantee Trust Bank, that I will be the best Segun I can be. I cannot be like any other managing director that run this bank before me. However, I always joke with people that having worked under two probably of the best managing directors you can always work under, I am probably better equipped than anybody to run a bank. I have learned from two of the masters, and I think if I take what those two people have taught me and I put it into the next couple of years of my own tenure as managing director, I am confident that I will build you an even greater institution than we have today. Thank you very much.